Hi there, folks. This is Sean Bartek for the Oxford Club, and I'm here speaking in Vancouver to a very interesting mining explorer working in Africa. This is Andrew Lee Smith. He's the CEO of East Africa Metals, which is a company that expects to be in production at the end of next year. And very exciting story. Andrew, could you speak to my subscribers about what your company is doing?
Certainly, Sean. We've been active in Africa since 2007, and since 2010, we've been developing a project in Ethiopia. Ethiopia is an interesting country in that it's an emerging jurisdiction with actually only one commercial mining operation, gold mining operation in the country at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So we deployed our business plan, which is to move into these areas where exploration has not been prominent, and these emerging mining jurisdictions with the hope of being able to make cheap, easy discoveries. We've had success in Tanzania prior to this, and we also brought that philosophy and that approach to Ethiopia, where we've actually had some equal success over the last 3 or 4 years.
Okay, so just to interject here, now you're on the Horn of Africa, which, I mean, there are plenty of mines around there. So that's actually a very prospective area. It's just Ethiopia is kind of emerging, and so you guys are really blazing the trail there, right?
That's correct. We're pioneers, really, and have been recognized by the Ethiopian government as being the leading exploration company in the country. And we've advanced these projects very quickly from the discoveries in 2010. Matter of fact, our discovery costs per ounce right now are sitting about $12 per ounce, extremely cheap, and that I'll say has more to do with the fact that we're in a country and a region that has tremendous mineral endowment that has never been explored before. So that's where the quick, easy ounces are.
All right, now many people, when they think of like places like this, they think you're out in the middle of nowhere with like no power and stuff. That's not the case. You guys are you have a highway nearby, very close to electric power. There's even a new railroad coming in, isn't that right?
That's correct. It's part of a program sponsored by the World Bank called the Grand Transformation Program, which is to encourage and stimulate the resource development the development of the resource sector in Ethiopia as a means to combat poverty. So the injection of $75 billion in infrastructure into this region, specifically targeted to create the commercial infrastructure required to stimulate the development of the resource sector, has been put in place, literally sits within 7 kilometers of our project, both cheap hydroelectric power, paved highway. We have a full-time river running close by us as well, and as you mentioned, the railway coming in to connect this region to the port of Djibouti in the next couple of years.
All right. Now, let's speak about the project itself. It's actually multi-layer, but you have a nice oxide, a gold cap on top that's easy to mine, isn't that right?
It was really our approach that we defined about 2 years ago, was to try and get in this position where we had a resource that backed up the value of the company, but also had a short-term profile to a short-term objective of being in production, particularly something that was high grade, that would generate the kind of cash flow we needed to continue the exploration of this large property with multiple prospects that haven't been advanced beyond the grassroots stage so far. So we're looking to generate the capital that we need to continue our exploration and add value to the project through operations on the oxide.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and then below that you have a much larger copper gold area, isn't that right?
Correct. The total resources right now are about 1.8 million ounces of gold equivalent, which is a combination of copper and gold. The Terra Comiti deposit, which the oxide sits on top of, is about 5 million tons at about 1.8% copper and 1.6 grams gold, with zinc and silver as well. So it's a high-grade VMS deposit that has many sister deposits very close by that we've yet to put on the docket with respect to resources, but we intend to do that through the cash flow from operation.
Right, and so now the oxide gold, that's 130 ounces, grading like about 2 grams per ton, right?
135,000 ounces at 3.2 grams per ton.
Sorry. All right, good. Numbers are flying around in my head. Yeah, so there's that, and that will provide cash flow to the company next year, which you can then use to explore the other deposits in the area, right?
It's really an anti-dilution strategy, and we're trying to stay out. These markets are recovering, and certainly share prices are But we still find, I think you find generally that a lot of projects and companies such as us remain undervalued today. So in those sort of circumstances, you obviously are looking for a way to fund your projects without being too dilutive to your existing shareholders. And we set this out as a strategy and are very grateful that we've been able to, our technical team has been able to pull it off over the last 2 years.
What is the share structure of the company now, by the way?
102 million shares outstanding. We're trading at 26 cents today, so a $26 million market cap right now.
All right, small stuff. And one thing that I did want to mention is it's nice to have big friends, and it seems like both the Chinese and the Canadian governments really want you to succeed here, right?
It's always a trade-off, and our business plan trades off geological opportunity against political risk. And that's a great place to be if you can manage the political risk. And we've developed very close relationships with both those institutions, the Chinese and Canadian embassies, and they've been very, very helpful in making sure that we have access to the appropriate political infrastructure in Ethiopia to make sure that we can advance these projects in a way that's in the benefit of our shareholders.
Okay, great. Well, that about wraps up my questions. Do you have anything you want to add, or?
No, other than Ethiopia is a wonderful country. They really do have an intent to establish a stable democracy in the Horn of Africa and to combat poverty in their country. So they're motivated to move the resource sector forward, and we really believe that the country risk in Ethiopia is more perceived than real in our estimation.
Okay, great. Well, this is really exciting to find a company that's really a pioneer in a country that is part of the Horn of Africa, which has mines all over the place. But in Ethiopia, no, it's really hasn't been done. So this has a little more risk, but it also has opportunity because no one has really done this there before. So that's cool. And when you find a company that is going to be in production with a very inexpensive project at the end of next year, in this kind of market, well, that's when you might want to take a closer look at. So thanks very much for speaking to my subscribers. Thanks to you folks for tuning in, and I'll have more for you from Vancouver.